Good morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel. So today I am coming out to harvest my blueberries. Well, some of them. I need to lighten the load on the branches, so I thought I would bring you guys along. Let me know down in the comments below if any of you grow blueberries. Now, there's well, I've been told all my life that a blueberry bush will last about 7 years. These ones I've had about 16 years now. They were in pots for the first 10 years of their lives, and then they were put in the ground. They still produce wonderful, wonderful blueberries. I know when it comes to blueberry farms, every few years they pull their bushes out and get new ones. You don't have to do that. Your blueberries will keep giving you fruit for forever. So yeah, I'm gonna get into it. Let's see. I think you will be able to see me. Okay. So look at the size of these. There's so many big, 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 beautiful blueberries. Um, so what kind of fruits do you guys grow? So far on my property, I have apples, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries, grapes, goji berries, elderberries. What am I forgetting? Oh, salmon berries. Um, oops, I dropped one. And I tell you, it's great because I can harvest them now. I can make jams, jellies, syrups. I can preserve them by dehydrating them for the winter months. And you know what's really interesting is the leaves. The leaves are medicinal as well. And that goes for all of the berries. The blackberries, raspberries, grape leaves, and grape leaves you can use for cooking and whatnot, for making tamales. Um, but I love it. I love having the fresh fruit. So when I come out in the morning, I can grab a handful to get my day started and get some nice vitamins and minerals into my system. Now, blueberries are really easy. There's not a lot that you have to do with them to get them to grow. Um, I tend to harvest off some of the bigger stalks at the end of the year, just so it can grow new ones. But that's really it. It's fairly easy. And in just a few minutes, I'll show you how many berries I already have. There's so many, you guys. Um, what's your favorite fruit? My favorite is actually blueberries. They're packed full of antioxidants, um, just tons and tons of different minerals and nutrients. And it's really the antioxidants that you're after, right? So the darker fruits, the ones with more color and whatnot, they're gonna have more for you. Look at them all. I don't even know if you guys can see these, but I've only gotten a little section of this one plant done, and my basket's getting full. You know, I never know what to put for content on YouTube. I never know what you guys will enjoy watching or talking about. So today I thought I would bring you along for this because I was doing harvesting. I harvested my radishes in the garden, and I got a beautiful amount of wonderful, wonderful radishes. I was very, very happy and pleased with that. And now I'm going to harvest my blueberries. Well, my first harvest. They'll keep coming throughout the summer months. But once I harvest them, I will cut them back a little bit, just for the fruit producers, right? And get rid of all the, what do they call them, suckers? Which are basically branches that don't put out fruit, right? They just have the leaves on them. So I will be doing that. But look at, can you guys see all these big, look at the size of them. They're delicious. So in one of my videos, I had mentioned that when it comes to fruit, the more you water them, the bigger they get. Some people think that they have a hard time growing. things like blueberries, and they say, oh, they're so small and they have no flavor. It's only because you didn't give them enough water. Remembering that fruit contains a lot of water in them, right? They're like, I don't know, 80% water. So if you don't give them that water while they're growing, they're not going to be big and yummy. They're still going to grow, but they'll be tiny. I do notice that from when I had them in pots to when I have them in the ground, they are much bigger in the ground than in pots. But still, a lovely amount of fruit comes off of them. Even if you have them like in a patio pot, you're still going to get a ton of fruit as long as you keep them nicely hydrated. And that's it. That's really all there is to it, to growing these. Oh. So it's probably going to take me quite a while to do this harvesting because I have so many to harvest. I should have probably picked them a little sooner. But you know, I've been so busy with all the rest of the yard work and gardening and the animals. And yeah, I know I had mentioned that I'm thinking about getting rid of my chickens, and I'm still contemplating that. As much as I love to have the eggs, it's a lot of work. And then, of course, when you have chickens, you have the chance of getting rodents. And over the years in our chicken coop, we have gotten some rodents. But my biggest problem right now is the squirrels. They're really, they scare the chickens, right? Because when they come in these little groups of, you know, like a little squirrel gang. And they scare the chickens. So because the chickens get scared, they won't lay eggs. And it's like, it's kind of redundant, you know. You're taking the time to care for them and feed them and all that stuff, but you're not getting any eggs. So until I get the squirrel problem figured out, it's kind of a waste of my time. Now, do I love my chickens? Of course I do, but at the same time, they are meant to provide my family and me food. So if they're not providing, see, here's one of my electrocultures. I don't know if you can see that. I have electrocultures in all of my blueberries, all throughout my gardens, my medicinals, and it really does make a difference in the size of the fruit that I harvest off of it. It's much bigger, much yummier. So yeah, I am going to be putting these videos where I'm just harvesting just onto a playlist, so if people want to support my channel by running my content. I did one the other day of the daylight coming, daybreak, and it's about, I don't know, 50 minutes, just to kind of help my watch time. I know most of my content is really to the point. I don't have a lot of, you know, just nothing. And I do realize that when people support your channel, sometimes they'll just run your playlist, so they're not even watching. So something like this, me harvesting the blueberries or daybreak coming across the land, I think is good content for that, because I don't mind, because I'm not teaching you anything. Because really my goal on my channel is to help others learn all about natural things, how to grow things, how to harvest things, and then how to use them. So I haven't really gotten into making things on my channel because of the YouTube guidelines. In Canada anyways, they're not really fond of medicinals, right? They're not big on them. In some aspects, they're actually trying to ban them. So I have to be very, very careful on what I say on my channel. I want to show you guys something. There's a branch over here, literally hanging down because of all the fruit. Do you see that? Let's move my setup. You see my setup here for the camera? Let's move this. over here, and I should probably help that branch a little bit and get some of the fruit off. I hope you guys can see there. Oh my goodness. Oh, I don't want to, ooh, look at it. And they're huge, you guys. These berries are massive. Probably the biggest ones so far. And you know, remember I was saying that the fruit came, but they weren't turning colors? Maybe that's kind of a good thing because now they're massive. The size of them is really big. I'm really digging it. Can you guys even see me back here? Okay. So yeah, I'm trying to put some content on. Look at the mullein. This is a mullein flower. These are the little mullein flowers that I use to infuse oil for earaches. Yeah, so as I was saying about making things, when it comes to tinctures and creams and salves and stuff, I have to be very careful on what I share on my YouTube channel. As much as I want to share everything with you guys, at the same time I don't want to lose my channel, because then all of my hard work becomes redundant, and nobody wants to do that, right? So look at the fruit. Ooh. So I'm just gonna keep harvesting here. It's like there's certain plants that I can't really talk about. When I learned about certain plants, they were prized medicinals, you know, and all the people that I learned from use them on a regular basis for many, many different things. However, in the last probably 10 to 15 years, the information on those plants has changed. And instead of them being a prized medicinal, they now say, oh, they're dangerous, don't use them, they're toxic, they're this, they're that. And because the information is disappearing, the original information is disappearing, it's hard for me to tell you guys, oh, this is a great plant, when if you hit Google, good old Google, it's going to tell you don't touch it. And then you guys are going to think I'm nuts. So, and that's another reason why I tell you guys to do your own research, you know. I can show you what I do and how I do it, but that doesn't mean I'm telling you to do it, right? So it's an interesting journey, this YouTube. You know, I haven't really looked into the guidelines too much when it comes to medicinals. I'm just sharing what I do, and I think I should be okay that way, because I'm not saying, well, here, take the plant and do this. I really want to. I want to share with you guys. I want to tell you guys and how I do it, how I make different cough syrups and salves and tea blends and tinctures and all sorts of wonderful things, oxymels and infusions. But at the same time, like I said, it's not something that in Canada is looked upon as being a good thing. So, you know, it's a hard go. Every country has its own rules and expectations, I'll say, of what we should and shouldn't do. So I try to be careful with that. You know, even a lot of the YouTubers that I originally met and learned from, you know, 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, they're not even on YouTube anymore. A lot of them have switched over to Rumble because their content kept getting removed for community guideline strikes, when really, you know, I don't know if you guys can hear me now. Look at all the berries. I wish you guys could have one. Look at the size of that. It's a huge berry. So I have a lot of harvesting still to do here. I'm going to keep going. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful, wonderful day. It's been raining here for the last few days, which is okay. It saves me having to do watering. I'm seeing I'm getting a little bit of spotting on some of my leaves, so these will be the ones that I cut back, right? Anything that doesn't have fruit, well, this one has fruit, but I'll cut back anything that doesn't have fruit to give it more airflow as we go into the summer months. Now, the 3 varieties of blueberries that I have typically, or they used to, always bloom or fruit at different times, slightly different times. So I would have a full harvest throughout the summer, and now it seems, now I don't know whether it's because I've planted them so close together or what, but they've slightly changed how they grow, because now they all grow at the same time. I get my fruit off of them at the same time, which is very interesting to me, because when I originally got them, how did it go? It went, this one was always first to give fruit, and no, I don't remember the names of them. That one was second, and this little one was always the last. When this year I'm getting more fruit off this one right away than I usually do. I usually get it later. So it's interesting. Holy berries. It's interesting that they've switched now. Like I said, it could be from cross-pollination because they're growing so close together. Because I had them for 10 years, right? And they never grew like this. I didn't really think about that when I was planting them, that they would get much, much bigger, which they have, but that's okay. I will prune them back again at the end of the year. These berries are great for making compote, making pies and jams and jellies and syrups and just everything. They're just lovely. Yeah, wanted to bring you guys along. Now, since I have you here, I have harvested most of my medicinals at the far end of the property, but up here I have not done it. And so I have to shell all these peas. They're almost ready for me. This one's ready. I have a lot of peas to shell, and there's still some little ones coming. Now, I had planted more here, and normally I would plant one more round, but I'm not going to. When these are done, I'm going to rip them out, and I'm going to plant something else here, just because. Now, I put a couple of sunflowers here that I started, but you know, it's really weird. My sunflowers are not doing good this year. They're just not growing how they normally do. My black-eyed Susan are coming. This is another wonderful, wonderful medicinal. And the fleabane, I'm going to be harvesting a lot of this back today because they're too tall. Do you guys see that? They're too tall, and the wind of the field is knocking them over. Now, my lower medicinal garden, I've harvested all of my goldenrod. I think you guys saw, well, if you did, you watched a video on me filling up my dehydrator with much of that. And now what I'm waiting for is this. So I'm waiting for my evening primrose, which are these little yellow flowers. The reason I have to wait for them is because, here, I can show you. So these flowers were from yesterday. They literally last one day and they die. So when you're harvesting them to use them as a medicinal, you have to harvest them every single day. And then, like I said, I infuse oils, and we all know oil and water does not mix. So it's a tricky thing when you're infusing fresh flowers into oil. You have to really be mindful, keep it in a cool, dark space. shaking it and not leave it too long, because you don't want it to go rancid on you. Now for the evening primrose, is so good for our skin. I use it for a lot of my skin creams, along with everything. The fleabane, the goldenrod, the comfrey. It's all really good for our skin. So I make a lot of nice products for my friends and family. And yeah, so I think that's going to wrap it up. Oh, let's take a look at the, let's take a look at the grapes. So they're getting pretty big. I need to tie this section up because they're really growing quickly. Now, I have mentioned it before. If you are planting grapes, give them a lot of space, like a lot of space, because they get big. And yeah, I mean, the two grape trees or vines that I have will be fine here together. But again, they take up a lot of room, which is wonderful. The apples on the apple tree are getting ready. So I will be doing a massive harvest on this tree because the branches are just getting sacked out, right? Yeah, so it looks like we're going to get a little bit of sunshine here today. So I'm pretty excited about that. Like I said, it's been raining cats and dogs for the last, I don't know, 3-4 days. I had a brief pause in the rain, which gave me the ability to get my video on bee balm done, which I will be putting out later on today. The blackberries will be giving me fruit anytime now. Look at them, look at them. So I will do another harvesting video on the blackberries when they get going. And my garden looks like a hot mess, you guys. Look at, I keep pruning it back and cleaning it up, but this is all, like, that's all dock, curly dock. It's a medicinal. I still haven't pulled out my red kale because it's still giving me food. So I'll harvest it again and then plant my green kale that I started out there. Look at all the tomatoes on this little short guy. I need to pull some of these leaves off of it to give it some room. My handy dandy watering device. And this is lamb's quarter. Now I got to pull it out, so I'll harvest that because it's shadowing my peppers. I'm getting lots of yellow zucchini. I'm not getting any acorn squash yet, and I'm not getting any green zucchini this year yet. So my sage is doing great. That's a couple more of my Roma tomatoes. These tomatoes are doing absolutely wonderful. I just have to stick 4 posts in the corner and run some tie wire or string around them to give them some support. My corn's coming. I did plant a bunch more corn in there, so I should get a good harvest. And again, most of the time the corn I use for chicken feed throughout the winter months. So if I get rid of my chickens, I won't need to do that. I'll be able to keep the corn for us. This little cayenne pepper is so riddled with fruit. There's so much on here. I harvested back my cilantro, my parsley, pulled all of the radishes out this morning. Look at this puppy. Look at that pepper. Isn't that nice? So the peppers are coming. The evening primrose is coming. This all got hammered down from the rain, all my daisies and stuff. So I have a lot of cleanup to do. It's a lot of work. And I'm really tempted, you know. I love the wildflowers, but look at it now. It looks like it looks like crap, you guys, because it's all laying down, right? It doesn't look pretty anymore. Oh, and my red clover, I need to pop the tops off, so because I missed my oops. Look at the bumblebee. You see it? Where's the camera on this? Oh, it's over there. You can see the bumblebee. Yeah, it's working to get that pollen. Hello. What an amazing, amazing creation. It looks like a baby too. It's a baby bumblebee. What's that song? Won't my mommy be so proud of me? Okay, so look at, it's all laying down because of the rain. So I'm really considering just chopping it down. Oh, but my lupin's coming again. But again, the flowers are super small, and I need to come in here and chop all these back. Right there, they're turning to seed. So if they turn to seed before I get to them, like this one, it'll stop the plant from blooming. So I have a lot of work to do, but I love it, and I get to spend time outside in nature. Isn't it pretty? These big trees, I tell you, it's such a blessing just to be surrounded by old growth forest. It does make it a little hard for the Wi-Fi connection. So my services are a bit sketchy, but I'm okay with that. And the apple tree is doing great. Gonna get a nice amount of beautiful fruit off this. So we will see. Oh, this one's got an owie. Yeah, it's a lot of work. I every year am just like fascinated by what everything looks like when it starts at the beginning of the year and how fast it grows, man. It's a little much sometimes, but well worth it. So I also went and picked up a pumpkin plant and stuck it in here so it can just kind of take over this whole area. And what else? I harvested back my St. John's wort. This is all bee balm or lemon balm. Oh, the smell. I wish I had smell-o-vision for you guys. Oh, and look at my beans. My beans are coming. They're climbing slowly, slowly. Out of the, let's see, out of the 4 that I planted, only the 3 of them came. That one over there, oh, I guess it's trying. It's climbing up the electroculture. So we'll see if I get a nice amount of beans this year. And I just ripped out all these plants, and it was all the borage and yarrow. But I have a lot, and I cut this back, harvested that, and gave that to a friend of mine so she could get her yarrow on her shelf. If you guys have not watched my video on yarrow, you know they used it during the war for a couple really important things. So when you take the yarrow, whether it's the flower or the leaf, and you macerate it, so you could either chew it or you could dry it and make a powder. When you put that on a wound, it will stop the bleeding. Have I used it? Absolutely. Many, many, many times. I have little tiny jars of the yarrow powder that I do up, and I have one. My husband has one in his truck, his work vehicle. They have it. They use it at work. So if they slice themselves with a trowel or a X-Acto knife or whatever, they can put some on and stop the bleeding. So all these things are really, really beneficial for us and good to know. I thank you so much for coming by my channel while I harvest blueberries and just talk and hang out. And that's it. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.